Ferguson, Missouri. The situation is decaying, the violence is increasing, the tensions deepening.
As I said, the agitators, the criminals, embedded themselves and hid behind media. They began throwing bottles, they threw urine on officers, and that's what caused officers to take action and begin to make arrests.
Welcome back to the arena with me, Michael Corrin. Look, there must be a better way, surely, than what we're seeing there. Is there a solution? What would the great Martin Luther King have said? Well, his niece, Alveda King, is a civil rights activist, the author of the book, King Rules, by the way, I highly recommend. She joins us now from Atlanta, Georgia. It's easy to make comforting sounds, I suppose, about all of this, but it's very hard on the ground. Do you have any realistic suggestions? What can be done?
I'll be honest, I'm actually smiling to keep from crying. As I heard those dogs in the background, I was transported back to the 1960s when I marched for justice, and I had tear gas turned on me and all of those because I was a peaceful demonstrator, but agitators from other cities had come and they had done exactly everything that you're saying, throwing the urine on the people, agitating, churning hatred up, and it's a terrible setting. There is a solution. My father, Reverend A.D. King, the brother of my uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., both of them taught me peaceful, nonviolent conflict resolution. And that is what is called for in this instance. I actually support a curfew, a late night curfew, because the people who live there, the citizens of the town, will go home, and you'll simply have the agitators out stirring up all of that angst. I think it is absolutely terrible. I also support having justice take its course. And so rather than the saying, no justice, no peace, I encourage people to do what I learned. No peace, no justice. You cannot think calmly and clearly when you're in the midst of that turmoil. And so I would advise those who really want to peacefully demonstrate to join the family of the bereaved. Michael's family, they're hurting. So pray for them. Send messages of condolence. Support any way you can. Reach out to the local clergy there and go to those prayer meetings where you'll see a church will gather at about 6 or 7 o'clock for an hour to pray and sing hymns to come up with solutions. And for those lawmakers who are not ready to stand out there and remain calm, maybe they need to be on duty somewhere else, because it takes a calm head to calm down an angry mob. My home was bombed in 1963, and when my uncle ML, Dr. Martin Luther King, was killed, I wanted to hate. I wanted to strike out. I said, I hate white people. They killed my uncle. My father said, white people didn't kill your uncle. The devil did. We are all one human race. And so you must learn to love and forgive. So that's the reason. If you live in that city, make sure you get home early. Pray. You can watch the news. You can pray. You can talk to the law enforcement in your town. You can write letters to the president. There are many things that you can do, but I do support a curfew late at night.
It's a very different time from the 1960s. An administration now, a black president, but an administration that is empathetic, it does care, it will bring people to justice. If this police officer, and there's a lot of evidence coming out now, this might not be the case, but if he did shoot an unarmed man who was fleeing, who was no threat at that point, he will be brought to justice. But instead of Martin Luther King, it's now Sharpton, Jackson, and others. And I get the impression some people are present there in Ferguson not to make things better, but to make things, forgive me, worse.
I would suggest that these are the people who are coming in from various cities, because rarely, you would not want to burn down your own grocery store, your own gas station. So you have to think, who is this that's going in looting and burning? Is it local residents, or is it someone who's coming from out of town? And there again, I always say, rather than say no justice, no peace, say no peace, no justice. So work for that peace. You can fight for justice, absolutely, but vengeance is not justice. Striking out at hate, love conquers hate. And we have to remember that. That was a message that Martin Luther King Jr., my dad, A.D., taught. That's what I'm saying. So no peace, no justice. We want justice. Let that justice system work, and President Obama has called for calm. I'm joining and asking you to be calm and let the justice system work. Yes, justice should prevail. And I think that the family must have some support and prayer. I join them in prayer, and I'm praying for their loss so deeply.
Very briefly, we've only got about a minute or so left. Some people would say to you, these words are wonderful, but they're naive, that those times have gone, love, peace, harmony. We're not, as young black people, we're not treated like this on the streets of Ferguson, and finally we've had enough. How would you respond to that in 20 seconds?
Young people, my home was bombed. I faced dogs and guns. I had tear gas. I was shot in the arm with nerve gas while I was peacefully protesting so that you could live in those homes that you live in today. I do know that these nonviolent conflict resolution steps work. You must fight for justice, but you must do it peacefully. No peace, and there can be no justice.
I do so hope that calmer heads do prevail, and we're not shown often enough those people on both sides who do want some sort of reconciliation, just the polarized extremes, and that just plays into this pit of despair and anger. Appreciate your words and your time very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.